Hello and welcome to March to the Pod presented by Eternal Roofing. You can trust their roofing just like you can trust Phil Longo to try to lose you a game. But he didn't this time. Season 3, Episode 18, Cats Konquer Corvallis. They cashed the check and we got eyes on Delaware. I'm Corey Hogue, your host producer. Once banned and probably should be muted, catfans.com member. You can find me on social media at Corey Hogue Sports. It's all one word, CORYHOGUE Sports. And don't forget to find my Substack, Corey Hogue Sports. I cover non-FBS football, which Sam is better than that now. As always, I'm joined by the one true ball knower of the podcast and really of the Twitterverse. He's the man behind at Sports of SHSU on Twitter and Instagram, the COO of the Cat Fund, proud Bearcat alum Ben Sorrells. And Ben, we have a bit of a Sam Houston Weekly recap to get to before we get into some football today. There were some signings today in Bearcat land.
A lot of them. Yeah, 3 for softball. The baseball ones continue to roll in. Golf had a few. Soccer. Really just a lot across the board. Big signing day for multiple different sports. Obviously, it's tough to comment on a lot of them, but a lot of future Bearcats, and I'm sure a lot of them will make a big impact on the field or court here in the very near future.
Yeah, it's great to see. We've seen a lot of those here. Andrew Arndt checking in on YouTube says, "Howdy, hello, Andrew. You're gonna want to stay around. We got a little. Even though the Cats won, there's a little spice to this episode today. But we got to talk
an episode with Corey without one.
Seriously, like, what am I here for, really? I'm the agitator. That's what I do.
Yep.
The men's basketball team, man, did they look good? They played Texas Tech. They lost by 98-77, but that's a Tech team that I saw go on the road to Illinois, play a good Illinois team neck and neck. That's actually a pretty good showing for the Bearcats.
Yeah, top 10, 15 program on the road. It was a very hostile environment before their big football game Saturday, so it was sold out. You led up until about 3 or 4 minutes left in the first half, and you kept it within 10 up until about 10 or 11 minutes to go. So really solid showing, really encouraging. This is a team, like I said, that's going to continue to grow. I think we'll really see where they're at late December, early January. They've got 10 underclassmen on the roster, so it was a really encouraging showing early in the season on the road against one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah, those are the games that I look at to give me hope for the conference season.
Yeah, I think the level of physicality was the most encouraging thing. I mean, Tech out rebounded you by 3 or 4, but you had the rebounding advantage for most of the night, and it was even most of the night. So it was really good. And Vajko Ilic, your center, a guy that I think there were some question marks around if he could really be the guy at center, proved he could definitely be the guy you ran the offense through him for a good portion of the night, which was really encouraging.
I've seen a lot of Grant McCaslin coach basketball teams over the last 10 years, and each one of them is going to be physical. They are going to get after you on defense. And so I thought that was a fantastic showing. The men are playing at Utah. Another good barometer to see where they are. 8 o'clock Saturday on ESPN+.
Winnable game. Yeah, won there a few years ago. Utah was picked last in the preseason poll. Obviously, you can't put a ton of stock in that, but new head coach. They've looked okay to start the year. I know Weber State took them to overtime a couple nights ago, so I think you've got a legit shot. If you play the way you did against Texas Tech, I think that kind of game could maybe beat Utah on the road.
Women's basketball traveled to TCU. It's a nationally ranked squad. And in women's basketball, the gap between nationally ranked and not nationally ranked is still very, very wide. They lost 88-46. Is there any surprise in that margin for you, Ben?
Not really. I mean, TCU, defending Big 12 champs, top 20 team in the country. They're legit again this year. Nothing really too surprising. I would have liked to see the defense be at a little bit of a higher level. Offense, I didn't expect too much out of, especially after a tough game 1. I didn't expect it to really uptick against the TCU team, but a little disappointed the defense. I think tonight we'll see kind of where they are against Arkansas Pine Bluff. That's a much more comparable opponent than TCU, a game you should probably win. But yeah, a game that should tell us a lot tonight at Pine Bluff.
They're playing the Roaring Lions now, and then they're
4:00. Yeah.
Yes, they are in Prairie View, 6:30 Monday. That's a home game against Prairie View, correct?
I think so. Yeah.
I believe it is when I looked at the schedule. Those are two games, SWAC teams. These are teams that you say comparable. Honestly, these are the games you really expect to win. What I'm interested in your thoughts on this. What I am most concerned about, and I think you were too coming into this season, is offense. And these games are going to tell us whether this team's going to have the offense to compete in Conference USA or not.
Yeah, and I mean the showing in the opener against, I think it was Southwestern Christian, obviously wasn't enough, but it was early in the season. But if they continue to show those kind of signs of performances, it's not a great sign if they're doing that against SWAC schools, which, like you said, they should probably win against.
That is correct. They should win against them, and most people don't agree with what I have to say, but they do agree that Eternal Roofing is the place to go. And let's hear some more about them.
Eternal Roofing and General Contracting is your choice for integrity work in the Texas Hill Country. Taylor Andrus and crew provide experienced quality roofing services with a mission of roofing with faith, serving with integrity, and sheltering homes in the spirit of stewardship. Don't just take our word for it. Here's what satisfied customer Pamela Allen had to say about Eternal Roofing. They did a great job on our patio roof, came out quick for a quote. The quote was very reasonable, and they started and finished work well and quickly. Not a bad thing to say about Eternal Roofing. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539, or you can email them taylor@eternalroofingtx.com.
So late Saturday night, at 9 o'clock. Been on the first week of the season where I was done with my reactions piece, waiting on one or two games to finish for the score and get everything sent out. Man, I could have gone to bed at like 10:30. No, the Cats started at 9 o'clock, man. So here I am up to 1 a.m. again, having to watch some football in Corvallis, but it paid off.
It did.
Paid off.
For the first time this season.
For the first God dang it. Don't get me started. The Beavers, though, opened the game on fire. 6-play, 71-yard drive ended in a touchdown. And then a 5-play, 24-yard drive resulted in a 33-yard field goal. They had an early 10-0 lead, and Cats became a little bit desperate. Went for it on fourth down on their next drive at their own 48-yard line. Things appear to be spiraling out of control, as we have often seen this season. However, there's howevers today. The defense held strong. Drayvon Wilson forced a fumble. Cecil Powell picked it up, returned it to the Oregon State 11-yard line, and this was towards the end of the first quarter to set the Cats up with some great field position.
Rob Akey, well aware of it. There's the first throw of the night to Walker, and he drops it. And that's that right now there's no whistle. That's going to be a scoop for Sam Houston, and a ball right now near the 10. This is the way this play is always officiated, is let it go, don't blow it dead, and then replay can correct if needed.
Well, they don't blow it dead because it's not needed, fella. How about that? There was a fumble recovered by the Cats, and that ball's oblong. It bounces funny sometimes.
Tough to pick up, tough to get a hold of. And Drayvon Wilson, first of two really big plays he made on the night, and one of a handful of guys on the defense that are super young, freshmen, redshirt freshmen, sophomores that have started to make a big impact, which is a positive sign. So it was good to see him get involved and make a big play.
So the Cats had the ball at the 11-yard line. 3 plays later, they were still at the 11-yard line, and they missed a 28-yard field goal. I'm not showing video. I don't have the video, thank goodness.
I was going to say, Christian Pavon looked like he had really fixed his yips from last year, and the kickoffs have still been fine, but his last few field goal attempts have been worrying. So I do wonder if he's still the guy or if we start to see RJ Lopez again.
Well, I was told at one point that RJ, up to a certain distance, was the guy. But apparently RJ couldn't hit a 28-yarder in the pregame or something. I don't know. I'm just going by what I've been told.
Yeah.
And I'm with you, man. That field goal attempt was ugly.
Yeah. And there were 2 misses on the night.
Yes. But don't worry, Oregon State's not very good either. They had a few misses as well. But after that missed field goal, they went 11 plays, 80 yards, and went up 17-0 midway through the second quarter. And the over and the spread was looking pretty good following another inept offensive drive, and that was a theme again Saturday. The Cats defense forced another turnover. And this is that interception you were talking about by Dravon Wilson.
And hit him in the zone.
And there's a pick, and this one may go the distance. Let's see. A good pursuit, forcing the cutback by Wilson, Dravon Wilson, who has a forced fumble now and an interception.
I'm not the best play-by-play guy, but I usually don't go, hey, let's see.
Yeah, that's a good point. I really thought if he would have stayed to the outside there, he could have taken it all the way.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. It's hard to know. They were trying to get out there and push him back in. He took the bait. I mean, he plays defense. He's not getting his hands on the ball too often.
It was still a good return and a big momentum-changing play.
Yeah, and it gave Sam Houston outstanding field position. Andrew Arndt says, I love the energy from the defense. Lots of hyping each other up. We'll get into that here as we go through the review.
I've got another comment on that, too, later on.
Yeah, we'll get into some of that as we go through this review, but that defense, probably the best game that they've played this year by far. And so one play after that interception, Mabrey Mettauer threw it up to the end zone, and Chris Reed was there to haul it in from 35 yards for a touchdown.
Speaking thousands of dollars right there. And Mettauer taking a shot, and that's going to be caught, and that's a touchdown. Whoa, what a catch. Chris Reed with a spectacular catch and ruled that he got a foot down.
Well, because he did get a foot down. You're going to hear a lot of comments about the play-by-play and the analyzing.
Yeah, it felt like an Oregon State broadcast, from the logo being wrong to start to the 10-minute pregame show not saying Sam Houston once. It was odd. I think there's an affiliation with the CW and the Pac-12 and those schools, which I guess I understand, but it was just weird. The
it is. It's a home broadcast. They kind of made it seem like, the CW and the Pac-2, because I can't call them 12. They've got two damn schools. They have an alliance there, whatever, to broadcast them, and so they cover all of them. But yeah, and the fact they just kept saying Sam Houston State all night, it's like, look, read the dang media notes. It tells you in there.
It's literally page like 1 or 2 of the game notes typically, and to go back to that play too, I don't know if I'm just thinking this or if it's just because this play's top of mind because it was this last week, but I feel like there's been a couple of times where defense turns it over, offense gets the ball, and they take a shot. I don't feel like besides that we see this offense push the ball downfield really at all.
I'm all for taking a shot when you get a turnover, right? That's a momentum play, and you can really put your foot on the throat. It never works for me when I play Madden, though.
Me neither.
I want to say on that play, it was a great pass to the back end of the end zone, but what made that play work was Chris Reed's positioning on the defensive back, blocking him off to where only Chris was going to catch that ball.
Yeah, and Chris Reed has kind of turned into your dude. I mean, at wide receiver, I mean, he's probably been your best guy this season, starting with that, I think it was the Jack State game in game 4 or 5, so it's been 4 or 5 games now since he's kind of emerged as your number one guy.
Yeah, no doubt he has. So, Sam Houston goes in the locker room down 17-7 because Oregon State missed a 42-yard field goal at the end of the first half. Cats got the ball to start the second half. The first kickoff was returned to the 26-yard line by Tim Burns. But these aren't good football teams, Ben. And the Beavers were flagged for being offside on the second half kickoff. Not an onside kick, the kickoff.
It was offsetting penalties, too, because there was a block in the back for Sam Houston also.
So they had to replay the down. And they replay it. And this time, Navarro Bulldog, Tim Burns, made the Beavers pay with this 98-yard kickoff return.
Exactly. And again, I want nothing to do with it. Nothing.
right, here comes Burns again, and Burns, oh my goodness, there he goes, and that's a Sam Houston touchdown. Re-kick works for the Bearcats.
And special teams rears its ugly head once again for the Beavers.
Oh, Ryan, just wait till you see what happens a little later in the game if you think that was ugly. Hey, great job by Tim Burns there, but also great blocking by the return team. They had a wide open lane for him to run. You could see that on the replay. He just ran right through there. And one other thing I want to point out before I give it over to you, their kicker got blocked at the 35-yard line. What are you doing downfield?
That was the point I was going to make, is what is the kicker doing, just laying out one of the blockers instead of going after the guy with the ball?
That was so bad. He looked like a kicker on that.
Yeah, and I don't know if he makes the tackle, but at least try to run parallel with him, force him to the sideline or something. Instead, no, he's just going to kind of blindside block the blocker almost.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was incredible TV, incredible play. And, the kicker on a kickoff, from my football knowledge, which isn't much, granted, but they are like the safety on the kickoff team. They stay back around their own 40, 45, and if they see something break, they try to get an angle to go get the guy, like you said, maybe push him out of bounds. He did not. He was one of the 11 right there.
He wanted in on the action.
He got in some action there, and the Cats pulled within 21-17. Oregon State drove 65 yards to the Cats' 10-yard line. Defense held strong, forced a turnover on downs. The Beavers had another opportunity with under 4 minutes to play, but Tyler Bailey picked off. No. Oh, geez, what am I thinking? I moved ahead too far.
Yeah, you're
fourth
like
quarter.
At the fourth quarter.
I went too far. I went one down. Fourth quarter, the Cats special teams. Ryan Leaf, you thought it was bad then, not as bad as this podcast. Lyric Smith blocks the punt. Brody Henderson returns at 31 yards. And by golly, the Cats have a lead.
They're on the same Houston side thinking this has to be our night. Whoa, they block it. There they go, the block, the scoop, and this is going to be a score, and Sam Houston will have the lead. Once again, a special teams disaster for Oregon State.
And at that point, I went, oh my, this might actually happen.
Yeah, and I mean, what is Oregon State doing? You brought 3, maybe 4. It's not like where you're bringing 9 or 10 guys and just going all out. And so I don't know how they got through the shield there, but Lyric Smith, the redshirt freshman, made a great play to get a hand on it. Brody Henderson picked it up, took it the rest of the way. So it was redshirt freshman that blocked it, a true freshman that picked it up, which was kind of a cool connection. But yeah, I don't know what Oregon State was doing, the guy that was a part of the shield there, because he only brought 3 or 4.
So then, with the Cats up 21-17, at that point, Oregon State drove 65 yards to the Cats' 10-yard line. Defense held strong, forced a turnover on downs.
They did, but is that the one with the drop pass?
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, you got the stop. You forced it into a 4th down, which is great. But I mean, that should have been a walk-in touchdown for Oregon State, but it was not.
Wasn't. Give the defense credit.
Yep.
They held strong in this one. So with under 4 minutes to play, Oregon State had another chance, but Tyler Bailey picked off this pass that what we thought could have sealed the Cats' first win of the season.
Yeah, interesting decision there by Jabari Johnson to try to take that shot.
They've been backed into longer thirds. Again, they're spying Johnson with 2 guys over the middle. The pass is intercepted. Tyler Bailey with the interception, and Sam Houston can now start to think they may pull this off.
To Tyler Bailey, first off, great job on the tip, getting it, and then the sit and spin.
Yeah,
I enjoyed the sit and spin.
Oh, it was just a super heads-up play to go down, because you never know what can happen on those returns. You're a defensive player with the ball, which doesn't happen a lot. You take a hit, you fumble it. Maybe Oregon State gets it right back with the first down, so a super smart play to just sit down.
Oh, my friend. Oh, my friend. If you thought that was the end of the game, you were wrong. Because It wouldn't be a Cats game in the Phil Longo era without horrendous coaching decisions. He did not disappoint. The Cats forced Oregon State to call timeout by rushing the ball. Then on second down, they run the ball again, holding penalty, pushes them back. It would have been a game-sealing run on that second down with the holding penalty. I believe it was an 18-yard run.
Jerry and Parker, who's only had like a handful of carries all year.
Yeah, and that was an obvious hold, too, by the way, on the right there at the point of attack. So it forced the Cats into a familiar second and Longo. Cats ran the ball for 2 yards, forced Oregon State to use another timeout. So now they have one left. And the Cats, third and Longo, third and about 18. There's options here, Ben. Do you, A, run the ball and force Oregon State to use their last timeout and then punt away? Or do you try to outsmart somebody with a pass? Well, let's find out here because the ghost of Longo's past. That's why I'm just going to start calling it. It came to life. This screen pass captured by Bleacher Seat PvP, Casey at the mic. That is his full name on Twitter. I swear to God. I found this video. Let's watch this. This is what happened on third down and long.
Third down and 20 for Sam Houston State. Minute 28 remaining in the game. Beavers only have one timeout remaining. It's all screen. Intercepted! Intercepted! With this Vajrawale! Vajrawale with the interception!
And so they try to throw a screen pass, and we're going to get to more of that in a minute. But that call gave the Beavers one final chance from the Cats' 28-yard line. The defense, though, held strong. Thankfully, the defense came through there, and Sam Houston left Corvallis $1.2 million richer and with its first victory of 2025. You got anything to say before we listen to Longo post-game and start getting into some of these play calls?
Yeah, just a couple of little things. I mean, a lot of people say the better team always wins, which I don't know if that was the case, but
I can't argue wrong on that either, though. Neither team was good.
Right, but they don't ask how, they ask how many, and Sam Houston walked out of there with one more win than Oregon State did, and that's all that matters. I saw the comment about energy, and I don't know if we're going to show any of the post-game clips, but the defense was in the locker room going nuts. The offensive guys walk in, and they look like they just failed a math test or something, which I thought was interesting when you go watch the full video breakdown. But, yeah, a win's a win. It's crazy how they did it, and, yeah, we'll break it down a little more.
We don't have locker room video. A lot of that is not suitable for viewing of younger ages on YouTube, and my son does like to watch this sometimes, so he can go, Dad, I saw you. He's 9. He'll get over it. Longo, first victory in 20 years as a head coach and first time with the Cats in 9 tries. Here was his initial thoughts post-game.
I'd say it's probably about as ugly a win as I can remember. Thought we tried hard to make this thing a little bit more difficult than it had to be. We talked long and hard this week about playing well enough to put us in a position where in the second half I could tell them, look, we're at that fork in the road, which we have come to so many times this year. And we haven't answered the call. We haven't been able to flex our muscles and close the show in the fourth quarter. And I said, I just want to see us respond to that situation this week. And before I ever had an opportunity to tell them in the second half, towards the end of the third and the beginning of the fourth, it's what they were talking about. And one of the great things about this team is you get what you emphasize. So we try not to emphasize too much, and we get some improvements, in the areas that we really need them. And I thought tonight they identified a couple moments in the second half where we really had to step up and play, and we did. And I thought the special teams obviously was the biggest factor in the game, and the defense stepped up numerous times when it had to in the second half. And I told them in the locker room I was very disappointed with how our defense played in the fourth quarter last week. And they certainly rectified that this week because they closed the show for us.
How do you not get filled with energy when you listen to that?
I'll try to bring some energy. I mean, the very last part with the defense and talking about them, and man, Dylan Frazier, holy cow! Have you ever seen a defensive tackle with 13 tackles? And I mean, his impact on the game went beyond that too. It was crazy.
Yeah, and you had a guy with a couple of big turnovers too,
Yeah.
and so yeah, we're gonna get into. Well, actually, you know what? Why don't we do Conference USA? Your awards this week were bull bupkis.
Yeah.
They were horrendous. Now, first off, you've got a team that got their first win of the season based on special teams. You've got a kickoff return that you could have given it to Tim Burns for. You could have given it to the punt block or the punt return on that, or you could have given it to one of a number of defensive players on the Cats team. Instead, they get nothing. This is your only chance to get Sam Houston a weekly award.
Yeah, it made no sense. For me on the defensive end, and you brought up the special team side, which I can definitely see too, it had to be one of them.
Andrew Arndt. Thank you, Andrew. Longo sounds defeated even after a win. Yes. Like, you just won. What is wrong with you? Have some energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's what he had to say about the special teams.
For the last couple of weeks, we felt like we've been progressing on special teams. And I said a couple of weeks ago in the press conference that we wanted to take a step on special teams. We wanted to go from playing what we felt like was efficient football. We weren't hurting our chances, but we didn't do anything to really help us win the ball game. Change field position, from a point standpoint, we hadn't done anything there. And this is obviously what we're looking for. So you had two huge plays. We felt like we had a good chance at a kick return. Wanted to run it again. Obviously didn't know we were going to return it, but we just felt like let's give ourselves another opportunity. And Tim Burns took advantage of it with some good blocking. And then, of course, Brody Henderson on the block and the touchdown there. This is just a total team win, total offense. I thought we did enough. Didn't play very well. Defense stepped up for us. Special teams stepped up for us. And I'm just happy for the guys that we had a full total package W for these guys, and it'll obviously be a much more pleasant 4 hours home.
A complete team win. Special teams, check. Defense, check. The offense gained 157 total yards in 4 quarters. They put up 1/2 worth of yards, and they only completed 9 of 24 passes, Ben.
That was
complete.
That was the last point I was going to make. It's the first time since 1995 at least, maybe going back farther, where the winning team had less than 200 yards and the losing team had 300 more yards than they did. There's been games where, 350 to 650 yards, but never a game where the winning team had less than 200 and the winning team had 300 more than them in the past 30 years, which is just a crazy stat. And it shows offensively that there still are a lot of holes and there are a ton of deficiencies going on. And the quarterback situation is still up in the air. But the defense came to play, made stops on their last 9 drives, and the special teams played out of their mind and did enough to get it done. And you got to tip your hat to both of those units.
I tip my hat to the entire team for getting a victory because that was not easy to do. And yes, I know I sound like I'm ragging on Longo here. Well, I am at a point because they won despite him. He got lucky on this one. He tried to give this game away, and that third down screen pass I will point to as the moment where he really, really first off, I'm tired of getting out coached every. And that play call, it's horrendous. We're going to get into it, but first, let's give him an opportunity. My man Ben asked the correct question this week on the screen pass. Here's what Longo had to say about that play call.
Well, that was, and Landon to tell you the same thing, that's probably the worst play I've seen him execute since he's been here. And I think he'd tell you the same thing. It was a screen. We were just throwing what was supposed to be a short, quick, high percentage screen, so we didn't endanger the football. At 3rd and 18, you're still trying to generate something where maybe we can create a little space and turn that thing into a kick return, and two things. Either one, go get the first down, but if you knock out 12 yards there, you give yourself a little bit more room to punt them inside the 20. And then, they tell you in our quarterback room, you got to be an athlete on screenplays. That's understanding number one. And then the other coaching point is we don't ever lift a screen throw over a defender. There's got to be a free eye line to the receiver. And we made that mistake. We lifted it up over a defender. It sailed over our slot receiver's head, and they got the pick. And it gave our defense an opportunity to come out for the third drive, in that type of scenario and get the stop that we needed for the win.
You hear that, Ben? That's the sound of the train finding Landyn Locke on the tracks from his head coach. All right. I'm going to pass it to you in a minute. But before I do, I have something to say about this. This was a quote. Short, quick, high percentage screen so we didn't endanger the football. You have a freshman quarterback who has played very little, mainly in scrub time, in blowouts, very limited playing experience in college, and especially in pressure situations. He made a freshman mistake because you made a bad call. Why are you even giving him the opportunity to make that mistake? It's simply inexcusable. And you know what? For the fact that Longo doesn't even discuss the fact that he shouldn't have made that play call, he should have ran the ball. You make Oregon State. You get conservative there. That's when you get – I'm usually an aggressive, follow-the-numbers analytics guy. Not in that case. You hadn't won a game yet. What in the hell are you thinking?
Yeah, and I asked him in the press conference too, like maybe it was an RPO and he just made the wrong read, because I know we might not watch it again, but he does attempt a fake handoff and the running back's next to him and you can see the defender crash down on the running back. So I'm thinking maybe it's an RPO and you just make the wrong read, but you cannot call that in that situation. A minute 28, 3rd and 18, and that play's not going to pick up the first down anyway. And what does 10 extra yards get you? And you should trust your defense with the way they're playing.
Even if it does, you get lucky, but you've got a freshman quarterback, dude. And the other thing is, sometimes you like to outthink you think you're smarter than other people. And other people aren't dumb. You can't go into thinking you had just calling a run play. You're at 3rd and long. Go. Timeout called by Oregon State. They're on the sideline. Do you think their coaches aren't telling them to look out for some sort of a potential screen pass? Because what happened was the defensive end immediately read it as soon as the tackle broke off to go block. He immediately read it, got in the passing lane. Now, at that point, granted, Landyn Locke should have pulled the ball down, should have thrown it,
or just
should
thrown
have taken
just go down. The ground. Yeah, or go down.
But he's a freshman. I don't expect him to make that quick decision right there in that case. You don't put him in that spot. That defensive end read it because he was probably coached to watch for that. That's not an uncommon thing. And if you're going to do a screen, maybe a tunnel screen in the middle might have been a little better idea. Regardless, you hand the dang ball off.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
and they read that beautifully. Freshman made a freshman mistake. Just what bothers me the most isn't that I can deal with the play call. I can deal with the freshman making a mistake. I cannot deal with the head coach throwing him under the stinking bus. I want the head coach. He can mention the mistakes Landyn made. That's valid. Mention those. But you got to look in the mirror and ask why in the hell you're making that call.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you could say that he didn't make the right read, but you shouldn't have put him in that situation. And just from a strategy standpoint, they had one timeout left. Their offense was mightily struggling against your defense. You run the ball, you force them to call timeout. You punt it, then they got to go 60, 70 yards at least with no timeouts in a minute 15 probably after that run play and a punt. I don't know. It didn't make sense. Like we said, you won the game. That's what it's all about. but those kind of play calls are just very frustrating.
Because those calls will cost you in other games. And it goes back to they should have 2 wins. This team should have 2 wins right now, and they don't because of coaching. They almost have 0 because of head coaching, because they didn't cover the out route on third down on that one play against Jacksonville State when they gave them those 5 yards for the field goal. This team should have 2 wins right now, Ben.
And you ran the triple reverse kind of play from the goal line for a 2-point conversion too.
It's unfathomable to make those kinds of decisions and not look in the mirror and realize that you made some mistakes as well. Don't just throw your freshman. If you're the freshman quarterback, how are you feeling this week?
Yeah, not great.
I'm not feeling good.
You might still get the start though, which we'll get into in a minute. But yeah, probably don't feel great after that answer.
It doesn't feel great at all. They got the win. That's what's important. We have a comment here. Andrew said, if Longo gets tossed, would the whole team hit the portal again, or would we not have to start over in this rebuild? Andrew, to be honest with you, in this day and age of college football, it doesn't matter if the coach stays or leaves. You may still be in the position of rebuilding the whole roster.
Yeah, well, and he's going to get at least one more year, no matter what. Like we've said from the start, even if you went 0-12 this year, it's about what you do next year. Even though you should win some games this year, maybe you'll win more these last few weeks. We'll see. But he'll be here at least one more year, barring something crazy happening. And then to your point also, there's going to be 15, 20, 25 guys a year at least hit the portal from the G5 ranks and 99% of the G5 teams.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, look, we're in an era where, players come, players go. You're already seeing a lot of them at the non-FBS ranks talk about entering the portal when it's really not even open for them yet.
Yeah. Yeah, and you've also got, I think, 29 seniors on this roster. So if you just take the average of 15 to 20 plus 29 seniors, you're looking at 35 to 40 guys probably at least. So half of your scholarship players are going to be brand new next year at a minimum, probably.
Yeah, let's just hope that these recruits are being told the truth. If you're enjoying this show, help us grow by rating and reviewing March to the Pod on your favorite podcast platform. It really does help. Subscribe to our Substack page at March to the Pod, march2thepod.substack.com, and find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube by searching for @March2thepod. Again, that's all one word, March2 the Pod. We're also proud members of the Conference USA Podcast Roundtable, which has shows covering all 12 Conference USA programs.
And I'm going on with the Delaware guys tonight.
There you go.
It's something in Feathers. I don't know why I'm blanking their name, but Delaware Podcast. I will be with them tonight.
The Blue Hen Feathers?
Yeah, it's the people from their SSN account, but I can't remember the exact name of their podcast. It's something in Feathers. I feel terrible for getting the first one, but I will be on with them tonight.
The Fighting Blue Hens. I said it the first time. Now I can just call them Blue Hens. I read their media notes. And let's hear some more before we start getting fully into Delaware, which we will in a minute. Let's hear some more from our friends over at Eternal Roofing.
Eternal Roofing only uses the finest materials in the roofing business while providing an exceptional warranty. Why do they use CertainTeed products? Because they complement any appearance, provide exceptional and reliable strength, and are known for their enduring performance. Here's what Shane Sosa had to say about Eternal Roofing. Taylor and his team are amongst the highest level of professionals. They care about their customers and go above and beyond just doing the job. Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539 or email taylor@eternalroofingtx.com.
Okay, well, that one's over. Now we turn our attention to this week, where it's Delaware, 6 p.m. Saturday night on ESPN Plus. And don't know who's on the call for this one because this week's game notes I had not found yet when I looked. Last time I looked was around noon, to be honest. Delaware enters 5-4 overall, 3-3 in the conference. They're coming in off a big win over La Tech, 25-24 last week. Sonny should have called a timeout. Cats are 1-8 and 0-5 in the conference. This is the first, and this surprises me, Ben, that these two teams that were FCS powers, of course, we know Keeler was the coach there, and now the coach, and then became Sam Houston's coach, but kind of surprised they never met in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's shocking, really.
It really is.
How many playoff runs each team made in the 2000s.
Yeah, I agree. It's a homecoming for former Cats OC Ryan Carty, except he doesn't get to Huntsville. He gets to stay in Houston. Here's some stats for you, and these are all under Ryan Carty. He's in his 4th or 5th season, I believe. They are 23-1 when they score 30 or more points since he became head coach. They're 10-3 in games that start at 6 p.m. or later. 21-0 when they win the turnover margin, and 11-0 when they don't even commit a turnover. That's impressive stuff.
Yeah, he's done some really impressive stuff since he left in 2021. His final game was against Montana State in that quarterfinal. He's done an incredible job. It's his alma mater. It's where he played too. And I know they're really happy with what he's done. Sam Houston fans probably remember him for the swinging gate that he would run a lot, which people weren't a big fan of. But I think a lot of people would take it back because his offense put up points despite some of the dumb stuff. But he's a great offensive mind, puts up a lot of points, and has really transitioned well into being a head coach at Delaware and has transitioned them to this FBS level really well too, looking for their 6th win of the season on Saturday.
And that doesn't guarantee bowl eligibility for them since they're in their first season. They're going to have to wait and see if there's teams that don't have 6 wins, and then they can apply to get that, and hopefully they do if they get the 6 wins. It's only fair. There's 2 players from Texas on the roster, and both of them are from DFW. So since they're in their first year of FBS, they're also, as we've talked about before, not included in the national rankings, Ben.
Dumb.
Makes no sense.
Like I've said.
Makes no sense. But we have Conference USA rankings for them, and in total offense, Delaware leads Conference USA in total offense. The Cats are last. There's 12 teams in Conference USA for reference here, and the Cats are 12th.
Yep. Yeah,
total defense. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say they are a team that will put up points and give up a lot of points.
They do. They do. We'll get into some of that here as we get through some of the stats. You talk about giving up points. Total defense, they're 10th. Cats, 12th. That's we've seen a lot of that. Scoring offense, they're Blue Hens are 3rd. Cats are 12th. Again, that's last. Scoring defense, Blue Hens are 10th. Cats are 12th. That's seeing a lot of points this week, right? I wonder what Vegas is thinking, Ben.
We'll see.
We're going to find out. Penalties per game. Delaware does not hurt themselves. They are 1st in the conference. And you know what? This is one area where I got to say Longo's done a great job. Penalties per game, they're 5th in the conference. They've been good in these bottom 2 that we talk about, penalties and turnover margin, and that matters.
It absolutely does with the way the offense has been playing, and it's kept you in a few games, and it won you a game last week.
Certainly did. Turnover margin, though, Delaware's 11th. That's not good. Cats are tied for 2nd in the conference. So those are pretty solid. Look, it's a decent Delaware team, but it's not an unbeatable Delaware team.
No, I mean, they've had their ups and downs. Beat a pretty good UConn team that I think's got 6 or 7 wins. Took care of business at FIU. They've won on the road there. But then they have the games, against kind of the upper echelon teams of the conference. They lost at Jack State by 13, gave up 59 and lost to Liberty. They did beat Louisiana Tech at home. So they're kind of all over the place. They'll score a lot of points. They'll give up a lot of points. They're kind of erratic with the way they play. But, I mean, that's to be expected with a team moving up in transition. So I think it's going to be a good game on Saturday. I don't think this is going to be a 20, 30-point blowout. I mean, we'll get into predictions in a little bit, but I think it's going to be a pretty evenly matched game. And if Sam Houston can continue to force turnovers at the level they have, I think they've got a shot to be in this one.
Man, are you giving it away already? We haven't even got to predictions yet, Ben.
No, just a little teaser.
Hey, listen, Delaware, 5 wins. And we experienced this a few years ago. That the depth is not there in your first season of FBS. So to get 5 wins at this point is quite impressive.
Another point with them is they lost their starting quarterback on like the second drive of the opening game of the season. So their backup, Nick Minicucci, I think that's how you say his last name. He's been great for them, and it's just super impressive to see a backup come in and do that.
I'm not gonna lie, I had to go to their pronunciation guide to get this, and you are correct. It's Minicucci.
Yep.
We're gonna talk about Nick Minicucci in a minute, but first we need to find out about the Cats quarterback situation heading into this week with Delaware. And Ben, you asked him this question about whether, and one of the questions was part of your question. There was 2 parts to your question. One was kind of what to see quarterbacks this week. The other part was about whether he was concerned about burning through Landyn Locke's red shirt because he's played 3 games already. He plays another. That's the max he can play in and still redshirt. Let's hear what Phil Longo had to say.
So right now we have Mabrey Hunter's out. Mabrey, Landyn, and DJ are all repping right now. Mabrey and Landyn getting the majority of those reps. And so they'll both be prepared, and we'll make a decision as we get to game time as to who will start, and you may wind up seeing them both again. We'll see how the game goes.
I did not cut that early. For a guy that drones on with 2 and 3 minute answers, he gave 26 seconds of an answer and he didn't even touch on. He knew he purposely did not touch on the redshirt situation with Landyn Locke then.
Yeah, and I looking back at it, I should have used the word redshirt, but it was in the frame of context. I said with Landyn having played 3 games, does that factor into your decision on how you use him this week and for the rest of the year? So it was kind of inferred, but yeah, it sounds like it's going to be Mabrey or Landyn or maybe both. And who knows, because I'm sure we'll see Landyn at some point. Who knows if this is his final game, if they decide to redshirt him, or if they just continue to ride him. Maybe they start him as the guy these last 3 games and try to build some momentum going into next year.
Do you burn a red shirt with Landyn if it's not a game that you have a chance to win? If this is a blowout, do you just let Mettauer go in there and play it out?
I see both sides of it, because internally I have heard that Longo and the staff is a little higher on Locke than they are on Mettauer long term. And if you think Locke is going to be your guy long term, let him start these 3 games, see if he is. If not, maybe you need someone in the offseason if it's not Mettauer or Locke. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they use him. I'll probably ask it again next week if Locke plays, what it looks like moving forward for him. But if he's your guy, I don't have a problem with him starting these last 3 games just to try to get him ready for next year.
Okay. Well, they got to get ready for Delaware.
Yeah, one at a time.
Got to get ready for Delaware. And Delaware, not bad. Let's hear what Phil Longo had to say about the Fighting Blue Hens.
Well, I mean, obviously, we have a lot of respect for Delaware. You know, we've got a bunch of common opponents. They did a great job against La Tech, and we played them. We know what that team is about, and so we also know, Coach Carty's involved in the offense, and they're doing a good job on that side of the ball. Defensively, they are an absolute headache schematically. We've seen multiple teams this year, none more than this defense. And we'll see man, we're going to see zone, we'll see 2 high, we'll see 1 high, we'll see 3 safeties, we'll see drop 8, we'll see pressure, you name it, we're going to see it. And so this is a game, and I just got done saying it to our players after practice this morning, where we need to be ultra prepared, both offensively and defensively, because they're multiple on both sides. And they're going to make us think, and they're going to make us try to make mistakes so they can take advantage of them. And so, this is a game about, at the end of the day, it's going to be the skills and fundamentals, but this is a game where the preparation during the week is going to play a pivotal role, in who's more efficient on Saturday. I
did cut that one off because he kept going. So, yes, look, Nick Minicucci, like you said, he has been impressive. 61.7 completion percentage, 2,718 yards. In For a backup, 17 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. That's really good.
He can sling it, yeah.
He can sling it. And Longo had some comments and was asked about Minicucci specifically. Here's what he had to say about him.
He's fun to watch. I mean, he's talented. And, they do some things on offense and that you can't do with every quarterback. So it just tells me, and I certainly haven't talked to Coach Carty, but it just tells me he must have some confidence in his quarterback because they're doing some things schematically that, you've got to have a good, intelligent quarterback to do some of those things. And you've also got to be able to make some of those throws. And he's having a great season. I respect him. I think he's really good at his position. He's the number one guy we're going to have to stop on defense. And he's got a good surrounding cast around him. So I think they're feeling it on offense right now. So we have our hands full on defense. It'll be another very drastic change from one week to the next because they are nothing like what we just saw in Oregon State. So we have our hands full on that end, and then they're just as multiple defensively as mentioned. So it's going to be as much of an intellectual challenge, as much of a focused and preparation challenge for us this Saturday.
Oh, now I'm concerned. It's going to be an intellectual challenge, Ben.
We'll see.
Oof.
With that swinging gait is hard to defend sometimes.
Some other players to watch for on Delaware this week. Wide receiver Kyre Duplessis, 46 catches, 632 yards, 5 touchdowns. And leading their defense, linebacker Gavin Moul, 80 tackles, 36 solo. He leads the team with 5.5 tackles for loss and 1.5 sacks. I wrote socks on the 1.5 sacks, which, by the way, their leading sacker only has 2.5. They don't sack a lot. What else do you know about Delaware, Ben?
Yeah, well, I mean, just to play into what we talked a little bit about earlier, the defense is going to struggle at times. Depth, part of the issue there. They'll put up some points, and just a little inconsistent too. You just don't know what kind of team you're going to get, what kind of style they're going to play. I mean, this game could be played up into the 40s. It could be played in the 20s if their defense shows up. The turnovers have been an issue for them, like we said. So just a little erratic with their play, a little all over the place. But they are a good team. They've won both at home and on the road in conference play. And it's going to be a big test Saturday night in Houston.
It will be a big test. And what do we think? What's our predictions? Well, we're going to find out. But first, we're going to hear another word from our friends over at Eternal Roofing, and then we're going to get an update on the Cat Fund from Ben.
Eternal Roofing is locally owned and dedicated to giving back to the community by supporting local organizations and charities. They are also the winner of Next Door's Neighborhood Faves for 2 consecutive years. And as you know, if you've listened to this podcast, Eternal Roofing is your choice for Christmas lights. They provide premium lights tailored to fit your home, season-long maintenance, and hassle-free removal. Kyle Tatum said, "They're very professional and great quality, on time and clean, and really made me feel like they cared for me and my home." Give Eternal Roofing a call today at area code 830-251-5673 or area code 936-215-8539, or you can email taylor@eternalroofingtx.com.
Okay, we head over to Ben Sorrells for a Cat Fund update.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff going on. We had our basketball raffle last weekend. Let our winner know, and we're shipping that out to them this week.
It wasn't me.
It was not. Corey did not fork over enough money to get it done. Maybe next time. A lot of good insider content too. This past week have had 2 basketball articles with a lot of exclusive info on there. Some exclusive info on the baseball schedule also yesterday. So just a lot of really good stuff going on. Support these athletes, and it takes everyone. Need your support, and it's a great way to get involved for as little as $10 a month.
Yeah, I gave you all the 5 pennies I had, man, left over. So the baseball schedule, yeah, get on there, go support Cat Fund, support the athletes, and that baseball schedule has me pretty excited about the season coming up.
Yeah,
here we're not far from baseball. We're a couple of months away from that.
Yep, not too far.
But first, we have predictions. Let's look at where we stand last week. Oregon State was a 20.5-point favorite. The total was 52.5. Ben said Oregon State was going to roll 48-7. I gave the Cats a little more credit. I said 41-10. We were both way off. Sam Houston won that one, 21-17. So Sam covered and got the under, which means Ben took 2 losses. He's 5-4 now against the spread and the total. I took a loss on the spread. I'm 4-5, but I picked up another win on the total. I'm 4-5. I'm right. I'm on your heels now, Ben.
Yeah, I think I started 5-0 on the total and 4-1 on the spread, and it has not been good since.
You were on a heater. That heater has left you, my friend. Yep. So let's see what happens this week. Here are the predictions. These lines are courtesy Bet365. Delaware opened as a 6.5-point favorite. Now it has been bet to 9.5. Interesting. Very interesting there. Total started out at 56.5, which is a lot. And it is still 56.5. Vegas projects Delaware to win 33-24. I round it. Sam Houston, 2-7 against the spread this season. The overs are 6-3. Delaware, 3-6 against the spread this season. And the overs are 4-5. Delaware is outscored by an average of 32-29 in Conference USA. You talked about it, Ben. You said they score a lot of points, they give up a lot of points. There's your proof. They're outscored 32-29 in Conference USA play.
Yep.
The Cats, meanwhile, they have been outscored by an average of 39-18. 39. They have lost every conference game by an average of 21 points, Ben.
Yes, a lot.
Yes, a lot. Okay. With that in mind, Delaware, 9.5-point favorite, total 56.5. What say you this week, Ben?
Yeah, my prediction is almost identical to the Vegas projection. I have got Delaware 34, Sam Houston 24. I just don't know how replicable it is of last week's performance because offense scored 7 points, and I don't know. It's a good Delaware offense. I don't know if the defense can replicate what they did last week. Not sure if special teams could score you 2 touchdowns. I'm going to go Delaware 34-24. I think it's going to be close most of the game, maybe a 3-point game, and then Delaware goes and scores a touchdown with a few minutes left. So I expect it to be close, but I do think Delaware covers, and we're going to go over, and I think that'll be, the 7th over of the year if it hits for Sam Houston?
If it hits for Sam, it would be. That's kind of where you were last week, right?
Yep.
Well, ChatGPT, I went to my old reliable friend. It gives Delaware a 46% probability to win by 1 or 2 scores, but that's a wide margin. Let's break it down a little bit. Delaware, 25.9% chance to win by 15 or more. Okay, that's a lot. 18.2% chance to win by 8 to 14. That's kind of that range you have. 11.6% chance to win by 4 to 7. 7.7% chance of a 1 to 3 point Blue Hens victory, and a 10% chance that the Cats pull off the upset. So I'm saying there is a chance. ChatGPT predicted Delaware 27-20, which I find interesting because the original line was 6.5. But that's purple hen stuff. We're not talking purple hens. We got the blue hens this week. And this Cats offense is bad. Bad. Really bad. And when Mabrey Mettauer is in there, even worse. Only slightly better with Landyn Locke. Give me Delaware. I'm going 34-17. I'm saying it's not going to be that close. I'm going Delaware cover, and I'm going under again this week, Ben. We differ on that again.
Yeah, now I feel good about my picks. When we both go the opposite way, I feel like it's gone well for me, so I feel good.
Well, we both have Delaware covering.
That's true.
That
yeah,
did
we
not
both
work.
the cover. Dang, yeah, so now I don't feel so great.
You feel good about your over-under? Well, it didn't work last week, did it?
No, it did for either of us.
No, it didn't. That is a wrap for this episode of March to the Pod presented by Eternal Roofing. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you found us, whether it be YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or somewhere out in the Podverse. We'll be back next week with more coverage of the Bearcat Athletics. Till then, Ben, take us home.
Yeah, eat 'em up Cats and winning streak, 2 in a row. We'll find out Saturday.
That's some Purple Hen stuff.